Browns 0-8 at home. Just sad.
I haven't heard you this down since Stocky Brown got fired. It's a game that we were in, and it's a game that we just don't finish.
I don't want to watch anymore.
Why? Why does that happen? I'm so sick of watching those plays.
0-16.
I definitely do not want to watch it all 22.
That's up and down to me. That looks like dysfunction. Survivors, welcome back. Episode 19 of Season 3. This is Surviving the Season. I am your host, Adam. Greg is here.
Yo, what's going on today?
Nothing is going on much. We have a quick show. It's a preview show of the Jets game, which is happening tomorrow night. Quick touch on the Saints recap after our meltdown on Saturday, or Sunday, rather.
Yep.
Not much of a meltdown, but...
That was a meltdown. That was a meltdown by all means.
All right, let's pop into it. Anything interesting from the Saints after you've went back and looked at it?
Well, tackling was pitiful. If you didn't notice that the first time through, nobody could tackle Alvin Kamara. That was a really bad thing. Jamie Collins seems to be in a better spot this year. What do you think of that?
Yeah, much better.
Much better spot just in what they're doing. I mean, they did have him a couple times on the edge. Hopefully when Agba gets back, you don't never have to see that again. But when he loops around and blitzes through the A or the B gap, he's so much better than when you're using him as an edge rusher, where that's just not his game. That's not where he's good at. One of the other things I noticed, remember after the penalty, they went to 3rd down and 12 from the goal line, or 3rd and goal from the 12-yard line.
Yeah.
We did not play bump and run on the outside with Ward man on man. We went with a 3-man blitz and dropped into a zone to ensure that we held them to a field goal. So if you want to compare that to the week before where it was 2nd and goal on the 22, and I was complaining about Greg Williams' defense where we gave up a touchdown to Antonio Brown. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. You back off, keep the ball in front of you, tackle the guy, make him settle for a field goal. You keep it at 3 points. You don't let that end up 7, no matter what. Worst case scenario is you give up a touchdown in those situations. So much better defensive call there. I really appreciated that. Just Greg Williams' defense in general. Very good game plan, I thought.
Yeah.
If you look at it from above, you see a lot of moving parts where they weren't giving Breeze easy reads. They would have safeties backing in and out and making, is it cover 1? Is it cover 3? Is it going to be cover 2 here? What are they doing? And Breeze was having to think about that. Where's the blitz coming from? And he actually looked confused at some moments.
Yeah, it's a much better game plan. As you said, I did find it interesting. BBC only played 5 snaps.
Yep.
It looks like TJ Carey sort of took his spot with 35 snaps. Peppers 36 snaps to Kindred's 41. And Schobert and Collins played them all 100%. Garrett, again, just one play off. So remember last year we'd do those wholesale changes with the defensive line. I'm glad we're not seeing that kind of stuff.
The CYO substitutions. Yeah. Four guys out, 4 new guys in. They're not they can't even do it now anyways. I mean, we went from having, I wouldn't even say we had good depth, but it was at least average. We don't have very much depth there all of a sudden, do we? Like, there's not much going on. I know that Devario Lawrence, they're trying to get him in the mix. The kid from Baltimore, Carl, why is his name slipping my mind? Has Carl he played
Davis played 10 snaps?
He did have 10.
Played 10.
Okay, so they were going to work these guys in there slowly. I kind of figured that would happen.
Zettel played 9. He's the new kid that came out of Detroit.
Yep. Okay, so we'll probably be seeing more of those guys if Agba is going to be out, and it looks like Agba is going to be out again this week. You brought up Peppers. I thought Peppers had a very nice game. I thought Peppers has looked so much better when you have him in the role that he's supposed to be playing. But that one seems to be a battle that is still up in the air. Is it Kindred? Is it Peppers? Peppers probably has outplayed Kindred to this point, but Kindred's done some nice things too. He chased down, I think there was a play on a crossing route where he was in good position and he chased down the guy he was covering. You were right. It was who did we think that fumble recovery was? Mitchell did knock that one out, and it was Randall. It should have been 2 fumble recoveries for Randall that we were talking about in the post game.
Yeah, and I believe Mitchell caused them both.
Yeah, he may have. Okay.
Yeah, it was weird how it was scored on ESPN post game. I think maybe they have it right now. Who knows? But yeah.
So I mean, the one thing we talked about, the defense is playing excellent. Okay, we're going to go play the Jets this week. It should be another good game from our defense, I would think. We've played 2 good offenses. The one thing has been letting us down is this offense. And when you go back, you look at the last game and you look at what they try to do in the first half, and it's vanilla. We're just not doing much. In fact, it's the opposite of the way football is supposed to be played in the NFL today. We are this run clock management type freaking offense where we're going to try to run the clock, and we're going to try to run it down your nose and be a power offense. But we're not that. We're not doing it successfully. But we're really, on offense, we're not doing anything successful at this moment. Jake Burns brought up in a tweet, if you're not following Jake Burns, follow him. He's puts out a ton of highlights and whatnot from the games, breaking down the games. He brought up that if you think Baker Mayfield being in there as quarterback is going to make this huge difference than what they're getting out of Tyrod right now, you're wrong, for the fact that it's not so much Tyrod as a scheme. And I agree with him to a point there. Schematically, it is just so vanilla. And Tyrod isn't given the opportunity right now to push the ball down the field. It's just not there. Until the end of that first half, he didn't have an opportunity to push the ball down the field. It's these run on first down and second. It's a screen pass here and there. They just did not do anything. And they're not letting the ball go. And I don't know if that's part of Haley not trusting Tyrod, that he just doesn't think Tyrod's good. I can't really believe that's the case. Or it's just Haley, or that's their game plan, that Hugh's saying, look, we want to run the ball. We're going against the Saints. We want to keep the ball out of the Saints' hands. And, teams get into that. We need to run the ball. Well, that's the wrong way to look at it. That's just not the way NFL works anymore. You establish the lead and then you establish the run. Okay, this is not the old school. You establish the run and then that's how you win football. That's not the way it works anymore.
Yeah.
Good teams pass the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you. You've got to, it's so easy to, I mean, you can penalty your way down the field with, defensive holds and illegal contacts and DPIs, and
when you're not setting yourself up for winnable situations. You're setting yourself up for long third downs because you're not successful on first down. So this is what I got into a little bit with breaking down some of those where we're at right now. I use Sharp Stats, Warren Sharp's. I believe if it's called sharpstats.com or something like that. If you want to go to it, he breaks them down, success rates by downs, things like that. Success rate, for anybody that doesn't know, it's like an advanced stat. It's getting 40% of the yards to go on first down, 60% of the yards to go on second down, and on third and fourth down, it's getting 100% of those yards. So it's about getting positive yardage in situations that, and then they say, all right, if you get 4 yards on first down, that's a successful play. That's good. Okay. If you pick up, okay, so then if you have 6 yards left and you end up picking up 4 more of those yards, that's a successful play. You needed 60%. Okay. So that's sort of the way they want to be able to leave yourself in the best situations. If you do get to a third down, it's a short third down, but you really want to be able to pick up first downs in the first 2 downs. That's what all the good teams do. The good offenses don't even get to third down. You don't put yourself in that situation. So, but if you look at first down in the first half, this is what the Browns are doing. They're not coming out of the gates trying to get the lead. They're coming out and they want to be this run first team. We're running the ball 61% of the time on first down and 10. Okay, that's the 5th highest in the league right now. And the other 4 offenses are all crap offenses. Good teams establish the pass first. The average percentage of passes in this league compared to runs is 60% pass to 40% run. Okay, the Browns are right now at 55% pass, 45% run as across the board. Okay, but not when you start or not early in the game. And early in the game, they're running the ball way too much, way more runs than they are passing. In the first half of the games, they're running the ball 55% on first down and 45% pass. Okay, their success rates are 22% on the rush and 31% on the run. So they're not, or on the pass. They're not good in either of these areas. They're not successful in any way on first down whatsoever in the first half. But when they get to the second half, they flip-flop. They now go to 61% pass and 39% run, and their run percentage actually increases dramatically, up by 33%, and they're a 57% success rate on the run, but they're still low on the pass, 37% success rate. So they by giving more passes on first down, teams no longer are they're going to go, okay, we're in these pass situations. This team's going to pass on us more often. It actually makes you more efficient runner. That is a good thing to do. You want to do that. You have to pass the ball more than you run the ball. Okay, the Browns were there overall as a team, but not in the first half. In the first half, we're way too vanilla. We're way too conservative, and they need to just let it go, let it rip. We're putting up points in the second half. We can't score in the first half. We've been absolutely terrible in the first quarters. It's time that they open this up a little bit. And if that's what Hugh and Haley are going into these meetings and they go, hey, we got to establish the run first, this is not going to be a good thing for the Browns. We need to be establishing the lead first, and you get the lead by passing.
Is this because Tyrod is back there and they don't want to risk him throwing the ball downfield, or nobody's getting open, or
I don't know. Overall, as a team in the pass game, they only have a 33% success rate, so it's not good. So that's part of Tyrod. That's part of the play calling. That's part of the people just not executing. I mean, that's just as an offense. As an offense, we're terrible right now. So, we can sit there and go, and I can keep saying, hey, they need to pass more, but they also need to be more successful at the pass when they do it. You just can't, the one thing, you just can't get this vanilla on offense right now the way they are early on. They have to, when you have less talent, you really have to find ways to scheme to the defense. And it really looks to me like they haven't done that yet. The thing that the Eagles did so well in the last 2 years is that they figure out what your defense does, and then they're going to play off that. It's not so much what they're running, it's what you run, and we're going to figure out where your holes are. It's not about just running plays, okay? It's not like, all right, well, this is our first down play, we're going to run it. It's going, this is your first down defense, how can we exploit it? And I'm not seeing that right now with the Browns. I'm not seeing them take advantage of those things. It's almost, it's as if they know that they're not very good and they're still trying to work the kinks out. So maybe there's going to be some improvement there, but it needs to happen very quickly if we want to start winning these games. Now, we've played Pittsburgh and New Orleans, okay, and now we're going to get to a couple easier games here. The Jets are very beatable. The Raiders are very beatable. We need to turn this up and let it rip a little bit more, in my opinion. Things are going to start getting a lot easier. If you go another advanced stat, one that from Football Outsiders, they use DVOA, which is basically like their efficiency ratings. Right now, they have the Browns as the third worst offense in the league. Okay, only Arizona and Arizona and Buffalo are worse offenses than what we are. That's pretty freaking sad. The nice thing is the Jets are 27th on that list. They're pretty terrible too. So we're 30th. They're 27th. That might give us a chance to do something this week. But that's the part where we have to improve the most, in my opinion. And it starts with throwing earlier on downs and quit trying to run hide for 2 yards on first down and second down nonstop.
Yeah, you could also get Duke involved a little more. He only had 23 snaps. Seems almost criminal that you're not trying to get him the ball a little more often, somewhere in there, trying to work something other than a screen. Like put him in the slot and try to get him the ball that way. Like do something to get him open and let him run after the catch.
Well, another thing is that you could do is yes, have Duke in there as your back, split out, bring him into the slot like you said. Take Njoku and split him out and see if he can get a matchup on the outside with a linebacker or safety, one that he can take advantage of. We haven't seen that yet either. I feel like we're very limited in what our wide receivers can do right now. DeValve looks like he's going to be out this week. That's not good. We really need Seth DeValve back in there because he gives us another weapon on offense that we can actually use.
I wonder if it's a protection issue because I've noticed that they're running Njoku on those seam routes, but from the inline position. I don't know how often he's been split out, but it seems like hardly none.
Well, they should be running more of that 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, and then you can keep Fells in and you can move Njoku around. Yeah, you can have them start on the line and then split them out. That way you can get the extra protection with Fells, but still use Njoku as a weapon. I think it's going I don't know if Haley just is unsure of what his what exactly he can do with these guys right now. And I know that losing Josh Gordon, and there's just, to me, I look at this like, okay, yeah, you have Higgins. There's only so much you can do with Higgins. You have to get Callaway up to speed, in my opinion. Callaway is just as quickly as you can. Callaway gives you another dimension that you don't have. Landry, solid wide receiver. You're not going to get the same kind of plays out of Landry that you can get out of Callaway. Landry's not catching that ball last week that Callaway caught when what was that 47 yarder. Okay, Landry's 3 yards, 4 yards behind there. Callaway is the only guy on this wide receiver that can get to that ball, and you have to use him accordingly. And right now we're running Higgins out there for way too many snaps. You have that in front of you? How many snaps did Higgins have compared to Callaway?
Higgins 46, Callaway 50, Landry 59.
Oh, okay. So it was a lot closer. I actually thought Higgins had more. So Callaway had 4 more snaps.
Yeah.
That's good. I would like that to keep increasing. Okay, well, so maybe that's something that they're going to be getting more of. I know Callaway really had limited snaps in week 1, so with Gordon not being in there, hopefully that is the opportunity for Callaway to start being more of a focal point here. You're kind of relying on an unreliable guy, but that's a better option, in my opinion, than Higgins, who's look, when you throw him the ball, he catches the ball. I'm not hating on Higgins. I'm just saying you're limited in what you can do with him.
Yeah, interestingly enough, too, Landry, Callaway, and Higgins are the only wide receivers that took offensive snaps. No Willies, no Ratley.
Wow, that's a lot different from what Hugh would have done last year, because we were putting four wide receivers out there with not one of them who's probably even on an NFL roster at this point besides Higgins.
Right, yeah. Njoku 46, Fells 25, Orson Charles 18 from the tight end spot. So on top of being a little shorthanded at wide receiver, that's where I thought maybe we can use Duke and try to get him on a linebacker, and then Njoku again, try to get him matched up on a linebacker. Njoku just has to be better. Let's put that out there right now. He's got to do better things quickly.
No, I agree with you 100%. He's been sort of what I thought he's going to be, inconsistent still. This is what I was expecting. And he could come back this week and have an absolutely huge game. He had a big game against the Jets last year, made 2 tremendous catches. But I also don't know if they're putting him in the same positions that he was getting put in on a couple times last year now, or maybe just his opportunity hasn't been there. So I would like them to try to get that matchup with Njoku on the outside 1-on-1 and let him use his athleticism and see if he can take advantage of those things. Haven't seen it yet, but that doesn't mean that it's not about to come. We've run 100 some plays on offense, so I know they still have a lot more to show. But just so much of it comes down to being. We need to be more successful on first down. I mean, that was the main thing that I was getting at. We're better in the second half, but we have to start quicker than what we have. We have to come right out of the locker room and be doing it from the moment the kickoff happens, and then especially with this week in a winnable game, the Jets bring in a really good defense. Okay, so you want to talk about Football Outsiders DVOA again, which is, like I said, their efficiency ratings. Defensively, the Browns are 6th in the league. Now, we haven't been this high at anything for a long time. So the fact that we've done it against Pittsburgh and New Orleans, that says a lot about this Cleveland defense and how good they're getting this job done. I thought I saw something. It's like 20% of possessions they're getting a turnover right now.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
And the offense has put up 10 points on 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
That can't happen. That is completely unacceptable. Now, on the other hand, the Jets are the number 2 ranked team by Football Outsiders DVOA, and they're right behind there. I think they were at something like 17% of possessions have been a turnover. So the Jets have been winning the same way the Browns have with that, getting turnovers.
Yeah, I think they got like 4 turnovers off of Stafford in week 1. Mm-hmm. Right, and then Stafford came out week 2 and played much, much, much better. We'll see tomorrow how much of that is on the Jets. They gave up 20 to Miami in a loss.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, like you said. So, but they played Detroit and Miami.
Yeah,
we've played by far the tougher schedule to this point. That's why when I go into this game, I really think this is a golden opportunity for the Browns to get a win here. This is a good chance for our defense to keep what they were doing already. Keep it going. Okay. Now, Darnold's going to be the quarterback for the Jets. He has 3 interceptions already on the season that he's thrown. I'm not even sure how many fumbles he has. I'm sure he has at least a couple. That was his thing in college. But this is we got to take advantage of these kind of games. Young quarterback, pretty good defense, but just not a lot of stars around him on offense. Let's take advantage of this week and get a big win here. I think there's all kinds of chance for that. Do you want to get into the game a little bit?
I will set it up for you right now. The 1-1 New York Jets coming into town tomorrow night at 8:20 p.m. That's Thursday night. You guys will be hearing this probably Thursday morning, taking on the Browns. 0-1-1. Browns are a 3-point favorite. Imagine that.
How about it?
Yeah.
I'm going to the game tomorrow night. So that
great.
So don't they say like normally the home team gets on average of about 3 points?
Yeah.
So this is basically like a push.
Yeah.
Is that what this is a
neutral site pick 'em.
Yeah, pick 'em. So they're saying this one should be pretty close.
Yeah. So in week 1, the Jets went to Detroit, won 48-17, put a licking on the Lions, and then lost at home 20-12 to Miami. This past week, both teams are on a short week. Jets are starting a rookie quarterback. Darnold's 41 of 62, 532 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. How about you expect Greg Williams to turn up the blitzing this weekend and do some crazy shit to try to confuse this rookie?
Absolutely, 100%. I expect that. Will it be nonstop, all-out blitzes? I don't know if the Browns necessarily need to do that. This is a decent line, but this is nowhere near what you just had in the New Orleans Saints. So there's going to be opportunity for Miles. There's going to be opportunity for Jannard Avery going up against Brandon Shell, Kelvin Beachum. Those are the 2 tackles. Decent players. Brandon Shell is actually like a son of Art Shell, from what I recall, but he's nowhere near a Hall of Famer. And then on the inside, Spencer Long is the new center here for the Jets. And if Larry Ogunjobi can just keep what he did this week against New Orleans, keep this coming against the Jets and get that interior pressure, it's going to make Darnold's day a living hell. Now, Darnold's done a nice job of getting out of it. The one thing he can do, when he gets out of the pocket, man, he can still sling that ball. But yeah, you want to keep him on his heels, and you want him to keep thinking one thing. Oh, this looks like cover 2. Oh crap, this is actually cover 3. I just screwed up and threw this ball where I wasn't supposed to. So if you can do that to Drew Brees, any even a little half of what you can do to Sam Darnold, you're going to get way more mistakes. So I think this is a game where we should win the turnover battle again. even though the Jets are good at that themselves, we know Tyrod typically doesn't turn it over, even though he has 2 weeks in a row. We should be able to limit that on offense. And I'm thinking you could probably get 2 turnovers from Darnold here if you play this correctly.
Yeah, it's a return of the Crow. He's their leading rusher, 22 carries, 137 yards. He has scored twice.
Yeah, he had like a 67-yard touchdown was that this past week? Oh, it was week 1, right? So remember, what does Crow do well? He can, if he sees a hole, he can get through there. If you can stop Crow's feet, that's when he'll just run into the back of his lineman. You need to clog up those lanes. If he sees a lane, he can hit it and he can make a home run out of it. That's the one thing that he was good at when he was here. But you want him running laterally if you can get him going that way.
Yeah. The leading receiver is Enunwa, 13 receptions, 155 yards.
Yeah, now he's a guy that typically operates out of the slot. I haven't watched much of their games this year, but that's what he was. He was injured often last year for a long length of the season. But he's pretty solid receiver. He can get it done. Also, Robbie Anderson on the outside is a big play guy. Jermaine Kearse, who only has 20 snaps this year, so maybe he's a little banged up, so he hasn't been doing much. But and then the great Buckeye of all time, Tattoo Gate himself, Terrell Pryor, is going to be back in town. I know
spectacular.
That's going to, could have had him all day long on Terrell Pryor. I'm sure of that. Ben Axelrod will be having a boner in his sweatpants looking at Terrell Pryor because I know he really missed out. Hated the fact that Sashi let old Terrell Pryor go.
Yeah.
All right. For our offense, though, the big player on their defensive line is Leonard Williams. I know he only had like 3 sacks last year, so he wasn't getting the job done necessarily like that, but he eats up a lot of blocks. They got your guy in there. Do you remember Mr. Nathan Shepard, the Fort Hays State? He's got 54 snaps on the year so far, so we should be seeing some of him. I know you'll be excited for that. And then they picked up Henry Anderson from the Colts, another guy, 5-tech type player, just tough, so they're pretty physical on that interior defensive line. But it's not like they're good, but this is not Steelers good. Okay. They're probably right there with New Orleans. Your edge defenders, your edge rushers, Jordan Jenkins, Brandon Copeland, nothing to write home about. You get to the linebackers, you got Darren Lee, Avery Williamson, who they picked up this year. Now, Darren Lee, as we know, he's more of a quick guy, fast, rather than a physical guy. He's going to be able to cover people. But if you just take the ball right at him and you attack him, your lineman, he always struggles getting off of blocks. Cornerbacks, Morris Claiborne, who we know was a really high draft pick, and then they went out a guy that a lot of Browns fans wanted, and they paid a lot of money for Tremaine Johnson, who was with the Rams last year. So he'll be out there. We know he's a damn good coverage guy. Morris Claiborne is a guy who's above average in that, and then in the slot. One of Cleveland's old guys, Buster Screen, could have had Buster Screen.
Could have had him.
But he'll be out there and he's still playing like Buster Screen. So if you remember what that was like, giving up big play. But he's physical for a slot guy. But then you get back to the safeties. Marcus May is hurt. Is he officially out this week? He's the Florida guy. He was a second-year player this year.
It's listed as doubtful. I think I saw on Twitter that he is out, though.
Okay, and then they're basically heart and soul of that defense, who is Jamal Adams, the first-round pick from LSU last year. And this kid is just all over the field. He's going to be in on 1 or 2 plays, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind Njoku, Adams being one-on-one on Njoku. He doesn't have he's not tall by any means. So that's one person that Njoku could exploit. I'd rather probably even have Adams on him than Darren Lee at this point, to be honest. So that would be a matchup that I think the Browns could take advantage of him if it happens. But overall, it's a pretty solid defense. Like I said, they've been getting the job done. I just think we have better players. I think the reason why they've also been getting, so many turnovers is they've been playing teams that really just aren't that good.
Right. Yeah.
Detroit, Miami. So
Definitely
we'll see. Not even that Detroit's offense is bad, but they just seem to be in turmoil, especially with Matt Patricia right now. Things aren't working out there just yet. They'll probably get it turned around, but this is a winnable game. If we lose to the Jets this week, or if we get blown out by the Jets, I'm gonna lose my mind. Now we have to find a way to win this goddamn game. It won't make sense. Like we just played New Orleans good, we just played Pittsburgh good, and now we can't beat the Jets. And to lose to them 2 years in a row, going back to last year, where we never even should have been close to losing that game. It was just the worst game by Deshaun Kaiser. Do you remember he had the awful pitch that ended up being a turnover? They went for it on 4th down and 2, and just terrible play call. I mean, it was just an ugly, ugly game last year. And this is one we better get back, or I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't have the post-game right after. Post-game we'll have to wait till Friday, but actually either way it goes, it's going to be a fun post-game, because if we win, it's only going to be our second win, and if we lose, we are going to be fucking beside ourselves. So we're in good shape either way. It's going to be a fun post-game. I'm kind of happy that we're coming back this quick after the Saints. Just like, all right, we got 4 days. Let's just get back in there. I'm ready for another game.
After we just blew it. Oh, well, so we signed a kicker. What's our kicker's name? Greg. His name's Greg. I know that.
That's about all I know right now.
That's who cares? It's a kicker, for Christ's sakes. Just get in there and do your job, you kicker.
Yeah, and they also, the Gordon trade is now official. New England's sending a 5th-round draft pick, and I believe the Browns are sending a 7th back. And then they will take Josh Gordon off of our hands. We have replaced him with Rod Streeter.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm super pumped. So we traded a 3rd-round pick and Danny Shelton. No, a 5th-round pick and Danny Shelton for a 3rd-round pick. So we moved up two rounds there with the Patriots, and we traded Josh Gordon and a 7th-round pick for a 5th-round pick. So we moved up. So the Patriots were just swapping rounds with them, and we gave them Danny Shelton and Josh Gordon. Whew. Sashi got a 4th-rounder for a punter.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right. What's your prediction of the game?
I'm going to go Browns 21, because I don't want this to come down to kicks. So let's just score 3 touchdowns, 21, and the Jets are going to have 12 points, 4 field goals.
Ooh, I've got the Browns 24, 4 touchdowns, 4 missed extra points. to 17 with the Jets. Yeah, we're going to win this one. I think. I honestly believe that. I'll be at the game. So if you're going, hit us up. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll come say what's up, drink a beer with you.
Nice. I do want to clarify some Mayfield comments that I made last week. When I was heated after the game and I was saying I wouldn't let this organization touch Mayfield. Mayfield's still the better quarterback. I don't want anyone to misconstrue my words as he's not ready. It was just simply, I don't want the Browns to get to play Mayfield because they're embarrassing me.
You don't want Hugh to get credit for playing Mayfield when he actually plays well.
Yeah, but
I get it.
I think if we lose here, boy, the Mayfield Tyrod plays bad here. The Mayfield drama is going to ramp the fuck up.
What if we just barely win this game? What happens? If we just barely win this one and the offense plays terrible again, but the defense plays well?
Yeah. I think I think our offense isn't that good. I don't know if our offense is going to be good if Mayfield's in, but I think our offense is going to be better if Mayfield's in.
Oh, it's going to be better. I read you the success rates. Our 33% success rate in the pass game. 33%. That's not getting it done. Even if the play calling's bad, that can't just be 100% on Todd Haley. That's part of everybody. That's part of even the receivers at this point. I don't know what it is, man. To me, Mayfield makes guys better. He just makes the players around him better.
I don't want to waste this defense either. So if we're going to have this really good defense that's going to get turnovers and get decent field position for the offense, I don't want to waste the opportunity to win some games with a different quarterback because we're afraid to use him. You just don't know year to year, like what's going to happen next year. Is our are we going to lose anybody's? I don't know. I just don't want to waste opportunity to.
Here's the thing about that.
North.
When you look at the defense, like your core players are under contract, the guys that really matter. Ogunjobi, Garrett, Ward. Terrence Mitchell played well enough. He's replaceable, but at the same time, I think he's still under. Yeah. Is he only got a 1-year contract?
No,
okay.
Something.
Collins, Schobert, Randall still has a year on his contract. Peppers has 2 months. So the core of your defense right now is young. And it's super talented, and they're under contract. So I'm not so worried about that. The defense is going to be here, and they're going to be better. But yeah, the argument is all the time. Well, I think that quarterbacks should sit, and that is what makes them better. Or I think quarterbacks should play, and that's what makes them better. And then, well, if you want them to sit, then you use a guy like Mahomes or Rodgers that said, well, I sat and it helped me. And if you want them to play, you use guys like Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and then you go, well, he played day one and they were really great. So, there's a million ways to make these arguments. But really, it just comes down to the individual to me. Like, is the guy ready to play? Yes or no? And we've seen Mayfield play. He gets it done. There's nothing in my mind that makes me look at this guy and go, yep, he's not going to be able to handle the pressures of the NFL. He is going to handle. He's going to handle it perfectly. So there's no right or wrong answer. If they don't throw him out there, I fully expect him to come back next year and be and really contribute to this team and do a lot of great things. I just personally feel you're kind of wasting your time by not playing them.
Yeah, that's where I'm at on the whole thing myself. I don't know if we can put it much better than that. It's going to be talked about, though, as we move through these games.
The more the offense struggles, the more people are going to talk about it. If Tyrod gets it done this week, it might shut people up for a week.
Yeah. It's really sort of what have you done for me lately, and what did you look like last week? So, all right, I think we can probably wrap up. You good?
Yep.
Twitter's at STS Podcast, email survivingtheseason@gmail.com, Patreon support at patreon.com/STS Podcasts. Thank you to all of our producers. Appreciate it very much. #Road to Redemption. Greg, tell them what we say.
Keep on surviving.